flight mode. Und für die Landung, meine Damen und Herren, stellen Sie auch bitte Ihre Rücken.
I was afforded the opportunity through Georgia State University to travel to Oslo, Norway, to study early childhood education. While in Oslo, I had the ability to tour and visit multiple learning facilities, starting at the age of kindergarten, newborn, moving all the way up to college and high school. I also had the opportunity to explore not only the educational system, but to get to know Oslo itself and the culture of the city. Oslo is on the waterfront and is a truly beautiful city. While we were there was still snow on the ground, and we got to explore true Norwegian culture. Norwegians spend much more time outdoors than Americans do. We walked the city every day, as did most of the people that we passed. We got the opportunity to visit the palace, travel by metro, and really get a feel for what it might be like to be part of this Norwegian culture. We were able to see local areas, art, experience different cultural aspects of the place, such as food, the people, the opera houses. The city has a rich musical foundation. I saw numerous artists performing on the street and honestly was relatively impressed with how talented they were. It really added to the feel as you were walking around and seeing all of these beautiful buildings. The city felt very friendly and inviting, and I feel like the music added to that as well. We had the opportunity to tour a very well-known sculpture garden while we were there. It was beautiful and really moving as you walked through and saw the progression from childhood to the later years. We had the ability to hike and go up to the ski slopes, where my group had the brilliant idea to actually try sledding. Now, this isn't sledding as many Americans might think of it, or maybe how I thought of it. I thought of it more as, you're going down a mountain, not maybe an actual mountain, more so a hill. But our experience here was we actually did go down an entire mountain by sled. We fell off and were soaking wet and had to ride the metro all the way back up to return our sleds, but it was so much fun. We actually got to study with the college while we were there, and we're actually able to go and visit a high school. Now, the high school is not like here in the United States where everybody has to go. High school is actually optional. It's 3 years, and once you're in high school, you're actually considered in charge of your own education. Now, the high school that we visited was a really good example of what I felt the Norwegian education system has to offer. It was open, it was clean, it had different programs. The classes required an intellectual level of the students that I felt was rigorous. The students were all very friendly, very bright. It inspired a community feel through lounges in the hallway, and you could see the passion for educators as well through their teacher's lounge. The library was expansive, and overall it was a very different feel than what I've seen here in the United States. I was really impressed with their high school. We also had the opportunity to visit a primary school. Now, this primary school was in, I will say, a more racially diverse area of Oslo. Predominantly, most of Norway is white, just culturally and, historically. And this area was very ethnically diverse. It was, from what I saw and from the classes that I got to sit in on, a good school. They actually study religion all throughout school, Christianity specifically. We were there right before Easter, and they were having lessons on, the Easter story and the Bible. Primary here goes from the first grade all the way up to the 7th grade. And they actually had an after-school program as well. And they actually experience a lot of similar issues that we have here in the United States, with many lower-income families and students not being able to participate as much as high-income students. And they're struggling with some of the same things that we see in our inner-city areas. Their lesson plans look sort of similar to ours, but their schedule is much different. They put a large emphasis on outdoor time, which I think is really interesting to see how it works. The teacher planning areas are different than what I've experienced. Now, to move on to kindergarten, I think this is really the foundation of the entire Norwegian education system. Every child from 1 to 5 has the opportunity to go to a kindergarten of their parents' choosing. They really put an importance on a responsibility culture, and they do this at this one kindergarten that we saw through the use of storytelling and books. They actually teach children ethics and morals through a story that the staff votes on. This one was about a troll named Tambar, and I was really impressed with the way that this worked out. They made an effort to celebrate all the different cultures of their students, and I was really impressed by the space that they give to the students, and also the privacy. I felt that there was a sense of independence that was being fostered that I don't see in the American school system. Students had a little bit more accountability and autonomy over themselves than we really see here in most schools in the United States. They were allowed to play freely. There was plenty of physical activity, whether it be indoors or outdoors. It was actually built into the schedule for students to be able to have this kind of physical activity. And I feel that the spaces really accommodated this sort of activity as well. Now, the school that I was perhaps most taken with is an entirely outdoor kindergarten. This kindergarten, while it does have some indoor shelter spaces, allows the students to spend a majority of their time outdoors. They had solar panels on the buildings, so much of the electricity that they used when indoors was solar powered. They did arts and crafts outdoors. Even when there were feet and feet of snow, students were outside a majority of the day. They simply came dressed and ready to go. I felt that this kind of opportunity that allowed the students to be physical, to connect with the outdoors, to connect with their heritage through the outdoors, was really interesting and different from a lot of preschool kindergartens that we see here. We got to spend the entire day playing with the children, learning from the person who started this kindergarten. We even cooked our meal outdoors. This went along with the student experience, as they also eat all of their meals in the outdoors. The students were also provided sort of a free rein. They were supervised and had teachers, but they were encouraged to learn through doing, as opposed to everything being structured. While we were there, some students were sledding, others were exploring the area sort of on their own accord. Of course, watchful adults were there at all time if something really went wrong, but I feel that it allowed the students more autonomy over their own selves, and sort of allowed them the ability to connect with their environment in a different way. Now, this is something that you see going on not just in the kindergartens, but you see that this is the foundation. As the students move up through primary school and as they move into high school, they're afforded more control over their own selves and their own education. Also, the importance on the outdoors is seen throughout the entire education system, and really you can kind of see the way that it inspires a different type of learning, a different type of culture. Here in the United States, we spend so much time indoors, and my students beg to go outside, but it's not built into the schedule, and we don't have the space, and it's not seen as a priority. Sometimes, we use it as a reward instead of understanding that our children need these kind of physical activities. So that was really the thing that stuck with me the most from this trip, was seeing how that foundation is built, and just the different safety standards. In this school, students built a knife as their graduation gift. They went skiing, they went down hills, they went sledding, all from a very young age. And I feel that that's something that we don't see here. And I really enjoyed kind of seeing the different outcomes as we were able to see students starting at such a young age as 1 or 2 years old, moving all the way up to high school. You kind of see where this different foundation brings you. Overall, I feel that this opportunity was invaluable to me as an educator, and I think that it has caused me to think about some of the choices that I make. I really enjoyed this opportunity and would encourage anybody else who has the opportunity to study abroad to do so.